Welcome back for those that have been following us, hanging out with us outside. For those that are new, welcome to Childish Grownups, where we are rewatching childhood films with a twist. We welcome everybody to watch this, where we like to go outside, leave the stoop, meet y'all at home base so we can discuss films. And then at the end, when it's all said and done, we got to get in before the lights comes on. But I'm not alone by myself. I'm here with both my co-hosts, Mia G and Ash Bash. How y'all ladies doing?
Good,
Doing
bro.
good.
Yeah, doing good, doing well. Uh, we got a very exciting film. Hopefully, for those that are tuning in that are following in real time, y'all can definitely throw this on while y'all getting your cook on. You know what I'm saying? Throw it on the TV. Y'all want to watch this on your TV while y'all cooking and preparing food. Obviously, this is coming out around the Thanksgiving week, so y'all can throw it in or put the headphones in and just kind of go on nostalgia out real quick while y'all getting prepared for this wonderful holiday to share with your family and your children and your friends. So hopefully this is just going to be something that's just going to add a little bit more icing on the cake. But before we get into the movie that we're going to get into today, I did it in reverse order, but let me do it this way. Childish Grownups moments this week. Did y'all have any? Because I definitely was a little more intentional. I didn't have one last week, and I definitely had one this week.
I don't think I have one this week. Nothing that I can think of that kind of stood out. Like I said, gaming is a everyday thing in this household. So,
Oh yeah.
but other than that, nothing really stood out this week.
Okay.
You know, I don't have like a clear cut childish grown up moment this week. Again, more of the same. My daughter is still obsessed with Hamilton. It's still
Mm-hmm.
round the clock. Um, yeah, no.
Yeah. The childish grown up thing that I had moment. It was more like a childish grown up observation.
Mm.
So that counts too. I went running errands, and you get the text message, like, hey, can you pick up the food? I'm like, okay, let me get the food. So McDonald's was on the text. I go to McDonald's drive through, whatever. They mess up the order anyway. So now I got to go back in here, inside of the building. And when I went inside of the McDonald's, I was I ain't gonna say sad, but I was like real disappointed because it wasn't even like this McDonald's wasn't even like the new age McCafe style. Like this McDonald's was they did renovations, but it was even more like boarded. Like it was just so, I don't want to say adult, but it was like real gray, like real bland. And I was just like, wow. It hit me so crazy. I was like, damn, like I remember McDonald's was like a staple in our childhood. And it's like how far it has come from like, marketing it to children and having the McDonald's play place, which I get why they did. That's probably a lot of lawsuits. I'd imagine like, hey, we're gonna get rid of that whole, play situation. I can imagine it's probably something along those lines. But even then, it's just like the colors is gone. Like, we see those classic Taco Bell images online, the classic Pizza Hut images and Scholastics. And I just like, when I was in, I was just so disappointed because it was even worse than like the McCafe style. I'm like, bro, they literally had a drive through on the inside of the McDonald's where you had a hut right here for pickup and a hut over here for dining. And it was like, this is terrible. Like and McDonald's will still take a sponsor. So this is hopefully
Back, you feel me?
bring it will it. But seriously, it's just like, wow, y'all just have gotten away. Because even recently, Taco Bell's doing that like nostalgia thing and a promotion with the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the colors and the tacos. And so I was just so disappointed. Like I hadn't seen a McDonald's like to that degree like that, and I was just like, dang, bro, we're so far from those like the Ronald bench, the play place like I've spoke
Man.
before, you know what I mean, the toys. Like I did see a McDonald's in Walmart, but of course it's pretty regular, but like still, like I remember going into Walmart or Kmart, and you got McDonald's in there. It's like, yo, this is fire. We get all these groceries, don't nobody feel like cooking anyway, we better go right here to the McDonald's and the Kmart. You know.
Hey, I'm an adult and I'm still good for the eat out on a grocery day.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm not cooking nothing.
for sure.
Quick
Yes.
question, bro. What do you mean the McCafe style? Like, what do you mean when you say that?
It's kind of like the new age style. Like you got your digital monitors.
Oh, okay.
It's got this, but it's still kind of open concept a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of open concept and kind of what you've seen lately. But this style was like, I don't know if it was supposed to be like McCafe, but if it was like the neighborhood McCafe, like
Okay.
Walmart neighborhood Walmart style. Like this was what it was, and it was just it again. It wasn't dirty. It was clean, everything, but it was just so brown and so. I was just like, man, it did sadden me, and the only reason because we've been doing this podcast, and it kind of all the little commercials and stuff we throw in here. It's like it was a different time, and that just kind of brought it to a place where it's like, damn, McDonald, like, and I'm about to get off my soapbox, but McDonald was like a friend of ours in a way. Like we was like, yo, that's a place for us, you know, like, oh, they're our friends. They're gonna give us toys. We're gonna get to play. We'll get some ice cream, hopefully, if we've been good. And it's just like so far from that for the kids. It's like no wonder some of the kids grow up so fast or want to grow up so fast. It's like ain't no, y'all don't make enough cool stuff for them like anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and y'all just stop marketing there, and you know they're forced to kind of be into what the grown-ups are kind of into now because it's easier to get with and it's more available and you know it's more marketed and niche than it is for kids stuff. So I don't know. That was my childish grown up observation this week. I just was kind of like, dang, you know.
So I actually was watching a documentary the other day, and I won't say what about because it's kind of dark, but it was about something that happened at McDonald's, and it was just so different. It was something that happened in like the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were like, the kids used to come here, they like to play on our play sets. And I'm like, do they still have the play sets or like the jungle gyms at McDonald's anywhere anymore?
Hmm. I
Not
haven't
that
seen.
I've
I
seen.
definitely haven't. Not like
Yeah.
if I see it, I ain't gonna say. I mess around and might go in there, but then I was like, nah, it's gonna be a real problem if I'm a grown man trying to get my nostalgia going through the slide real quick, looking through the little bubble.
Right. Taking the shoes off immediately.
Yeah. Nah. What else you saying? I'm sorry, man.
No, but that was it. It was just I realized that McDonald's used to be so different. And it was
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
just so happened that I saw that like recently for you to like bring it up.
Yeah, it's all aligned. See, that's everything. Even our group chat, we're just lined up. This is all meant to be. You know what I
Meant to
mean?
be.
So, with that being said, our segment, go on, give it to us, Ash. Take us back.
Well, you guys know what time it is. You see the mic if you're a YouTube watcher. The Flash with Ash. So I got a couple of trivia questions for y'all. These should be easy. Y'all should get these right. So let's get right into it. First question. Which bodacious personal trainer helped Hercules go from zero to a hero just like that? Was it Ares? Was it Phil? Was it Bill or Hermes?
I know this. You know this. Me.
Don't
I know.
disappoint me.
Come on.
We know.
Okay,
Go
what y'all
give
got?
it to me.
Philatides.
Let's go.
Philatides with the TDs.
I mean, it was so obvious. Like, he looks like a Phil. Like,
He looks like an
what is that,
absolutely
Danny DeVito? Wasn't that him on
Danny
the... He
DeVito.
looks like Danny DeVito.
That's funny. Take your
Okay.
mic down a little bit, Ash. Just a little muffled, a little bit.
Oh, my bad.
Now you good. Yeah, Phil.
Um,
Yeah, good question though. Good question. I know some people like, why'd y'all do Hercules? We'll get there.
Yeah, that's my movie. Which cartoon character from Nickelodeon is known to wear a pink hat and has buck teeth?
Pink hat, buck teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You said Nickelodeon?
Mm-hmm.
90s. This is 90s. Do you know if it's 90s?
I don't think it is. No, it's a newer age.
Like 2000s, or are we talking like newer, like
No, like 2000s.
okay. Pink hat, buck teeth.
Pink hat.
I'm trying to figure out are they human? This ain't Ren and Stimpy. That's the
They're not human.
90s. So this is a human though.
Yeah, it's a human
Man,
character. Yes. I
Bugsy.
think I wouldn't get this one.
man, she might, she about to come on me. I need you to come through. She about to stuff us. She about to stuff us.
Oh, I don't know.
A pink hat and buck teeth.
Bugsy.
Oh, are they from Hey Arnold?
Nope.
Damn, I don't got nothing. I can't. Buck teeth and pink hat.
Yeah, want a hint?
Yeah.
It's a yeah.
It's a kid.
Thanks. That helped a
I'm
lot.
grown up.
That helped a lot. I guess that narrows it down. It's so many shows. That's the like.
2001.
Okay, so that helps a little bit. So it's not too new, but we got cat dog characters, angry beaver characters. It's not a Hey Arnold character.
Hat.
What'd you say?
I'm just trying to picture a pink hat and buck teeth, but I'm not.
I'm in my head. I'm feeling like an Ed and Eddie character for some reason.
That was a good guess, but no. It was Timmy Turner from Very Odd Parents. Remember, his hat was so small.
Oh.
So you probably don't remember seeing it because his hair, but the hat's back there. And he had the buck teeth.
Did he? I didn't know that. I know Arnold's hat is really small, but wow. Good to see. She stumped us on that one. That was good.
Thought I had Jazz. No. All right.
Spoiled.
Last one. Y'all better get this right. Y'all better make the Stoop Kids proud.
Okay.
What is the name of Keenan's sister from Keenan and Kel?
I just had a biggest crush. I used to have the biggest crush on her too.
I can give you multiple choice.
I remember exactly what she looks like, but I can't picture her name.
It's like a sound, but I don't remember this. Yeah, if you got multiple choice, we'll definitely take it if you have it.
Okay. Jasmine, Myra, Ashley, and Kyra.
It's definitely in the Ira territory, but is it Myra? You know what? I think I got it.
Okay.
Take it away.
Kyra.
That is correct.
Myra is from Family Matters.
Yeah.
That's the yeah. Come on. Did you? Is that what you was thinking too?
It was gonna be a guess.
Okay. Fair enough.
I could see Jasmine though, like low key.
She could pass for Jasmine. She definitely had a Jasmine look. Was she on Gullah Gullah Island?
Don't get me lying.
I feel like she was.
I feel like she was like obviously younger, but let me look it up real quick while we at it. But yeah, you got anything else for us, Ash? In taking us in the Flash?
That's today, just the trivia. So y'all got 2 out of 3. I did good.
Yeah, not bad. Yep.
Good job.
She was in Gullah Gullah Island. Yep. Shout out to them. They're coming back too.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like a dramatic reinterpretation?
That's how it look, and I'm here for it. I'm cool with that. Hey, look, you gonna make me have to go back and watch a few episodes. Like I'm gonna have to get in that space, just so I can see where they're going with it. But yeah, I guess it's supposed to be like a reimagining of it. I don't remember I just can't remember how I felt about Gullah Gullah Island though. Like I remember liking it, but I don't know if I was locked in. I think because Barney was out probably around the same time. And so maybe that's probably where I was more because they had the Binya Binya or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I always be like, I remember, but I don't remember. That's why I probably had to watch it. Okay. Well, now that we've had our flash with Ash, I need you to do me a favor.
What's that?
That lever over there, I need you to grab that lever on our time machine and take us back.
Okay, here we go, y'all. So, little synopsis. After a bitter divorce, an actor disguises himself as a female housekeeper to spend time with his children held in custody by his former wife. And if you can guess from that synopsis, it is going to be Mrs. Doubtfire. So, Mrs. Doubtfire, classic film released November  24th, 1993. And as far as cast, we have the late, great Robin Williams as Daniel Hillard, Sally Field as Miranda, Pierce Bosman as Stuart Dunmire, Harvey Fierstein as Frank Hillard, Lisa Jacob as Lydia, Matthew Lawrence as Chris, Mara Wilson as Natalie, and Robert Prosky as Mr. Jonathan Lundy. Don't think that there was any promotional toy merch, as this wasn't exactly a children's film, kind of like a family film, but not directly marketed at children. It was later turned into a stage production, which they have merch for if you do the Broadway
Hmm.
merchandise. But yeah, that's what we're doing today.
Have you seen that on Broadway?
No, that's one of the ones I haven't seen.
Okay. Okay.
I
Oh,
actually have a unrelated. I took a picture of all of my playbills today. I'm missing two. I'm gonna send it to the group chat. So
yeah, definitely do that. Come on through with
you
that. So I'm gonna throw the ball in your court, Ash. Let's just have this kind of let's go back. I'm saying that like a million times. My goodness. But as we rewind here, give me kind of your how you remember it as a kid, and we'll all kind of touch on like how we remember it as a kid and the feelings and just all of the everything surrounded around it, and then we'll kind of move up to like this overall discussion or Robin Williams conversation, this style of movie conversation, and of course we'll get in all our moments that are all that. So, how do you remember this back then, Ash?
Um, I remember seeing this at daycare a lot. I feel like I watched it more so at daycare than at home. Like when I'm thinking of it, that's my memories. That's my fondest memory is being at daycare watching it. But just thought it was hilarious, was really honing in on how he was dressing up, as a woman. And he was playing it very well, let's be clear. Um, so as a kid with those set of eyes, I'm just thinking like, this is hilarious. Like, dude is, obviously he's their dad and they don't even know it, and he's doing good as a nanny, almost better than when he was a dad. You know what I mean? So, uh, yeah. So as a kid, I just remember just thinking that was creative. And then obviously him doing all the voices and everything. So just thought he was an incredible actor. Um, but yeah, that's how I remember it.
Mm. Mia G.
Oh man, I loved this movie as a kid. Obviously, we were really young when it was released, so I don't remember that, but I remember just loving it anytime that it happened to be on or happened if I was at someone's house. Because I don't think I owned this movie on VHS. But if I was ever at somebody's house and I saw it, I'm like, ooh, let's watch it. And of course, just like Ash said, as a kid, you just really love the Robin Williams character, Daniel. Like you think, oh my gosh, like he's such a fun dad. He's
Mm-hmm.
so cool and he's like a big kid. And of course, you love seeing his transformation into Ms. Doubtfire. It's really slapstick, really funny. Looking at it, through the movie eyes, just completely different.
For sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate that this film is one that has a lot for the kids, but if you watch it as an adult, and I'm sure a lot of adults back then will feel the same,
Maybe. Yeah.
it has a completely different like meaning as an adult than it does watching it as a kid.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to get into that element of it too. For me, this movie is, as Ash has said as well, this is a daycare staple. Miss Doubtfire is a daycare staple because it is so, like you said, slapstick. It's so high level comedy, and you're looking at one man literally. There's not too many people like some would say, you kind of look at it like, okay, this might be like white Medea. uh, or Big Mama's House, something like that, somewhere in that nature. Where what I'm getting at is like how, I mean, again, we seen this back then. This was just like a thing, men dressing up as women for comedic relief or whatever. But again, Robin Williams nails it where you at some moments forget that okay, there is a man dressed up in a costume because he's nailing the energy of what we feel Mrs. Doubtfire would be. Then I felt that then, and it still obviously comes through now. Similar to like Martin as and Anime Pierce, I think that's her name, on Big Mama's House, and of course Tyler Perry. I mean, I think Tyler Perry set the bar way higher than anybody. Eddie Murphy too, of course, with Mrs. Clump and them, but I think Tyler Perry has it so high that you almost, Medea is like this family member in your head, But anyway, it's not about Medea, but yeah, I just remember watching this back then. It was just funny. Robin Williams, everything he did was just funny. And again, we're kids, so we love immaturity. At that age, it's like we're not looking at every detail of the red flags that we can obviously probably notice now with the 2024 lenses. But at that time, it was so funny, and then also it's just so like, man, though us being like hopeful kids, and some of us being like, if we were privileged enough to understand a little bit of romance, even as a young age, or love, or in like whatever it is at that age, we wanted them to get back together. He was rooting like, come on, why won't she just give him another chance? Because we, as kids, we don't understand the layering of a relationship. So we was definitely like, come on. And the way the kids are acting, like, man, it'd be perfect. He's got it. He's figured it out. Get back together, But now looking at it older, we completely understand exactly why. So I just remember this was just one of those movies, man. Robin Williams couldn't miss. There's only really him and Jim Carrey. Like this, it's when we talk about carrying it with this level of animatedness, it's Jim Carrey and Robin Williams, bro. Like I was gonna throw Adam Sandler in there, but he was animated in a different way, but he's not on their level. So I would just say Jim Carrey and Robin Williams, man. Rest in peace to Robin Williams. If y'all haven't heard, y'all go listen to the song by CeeLo called Robin Williams. It's a beautiful song. He just has a lyric in there. He said, he says, we don't know what the next man's going through. Wish I could say it in a better way. We don't know. Life reminds me of Robin Williams. You gotta laugh the pain away. And it's like such a potent song, and he kills it. It feels good, but it's still heavy in a good way. Like not this like, oh damn, it's a downer. It just kind of make you appreciate life. So y'all, if y'all haven't, go check out that CeeLo Green Robin Williams song. It's wonderful. So let's have this overall discussion now. Now that we're here, we were back then. Now we're here at this moment. I know y'all being women, specifically. I'm very being women. Being in relationships, being mothers. This is a very interesting, and it's just for me too. I'm a father, so there's that aspect too. So, but I'm very, very interested. And when y'all start shooting the text messages earlier, I was like, because I knew the Birdman hand rub, because I was like, okay, they about to cook. They're about to cook, and that's the reaction I'm looking for. So whoever wants to go first, as far as looking at, let's have this overall discussion, not just about Robin Williams, but looking at this film now, before we get into the moments that we're all at, looking at this film now, what was that like?
Ooh.
Go ahead, Mia G.
Okay. So as a kid, you don't understand the deeper subtext of a movie like this. So now watching it as an adult, and I hadn't watched this movie in a while.
Oh yeah.
Like this isn't one of the ones that I play back often, even though I love it. So watching it now is kind of like, wow. It makes you realize how few movies back then or today that really handle the reality and nuances of, complicated family situations, divorce,
Yep.
without the romanticizing of it, without the, oh, it all wraps up in a pretty bow in the end,
Mm-hmm.
like The Parent Trap or other movies like that, where ultimately, through whatever hijinks, the kids end up getting their parents back together.
Mm-hmm.
This, and even, there's a scene at the end that we'll probably discuss where it really kind of teaches kids in a way that they can understand. For kids who may have been going through that at the time, teaches them how to cope
Yeah.
and the things that are nuanced about family, and it isn't just one way. It doesn't have to look just one way. And I really appreciated that about this film. It was interesting to see how through our childhood lens we view the characters of Daniel and Miranda and how differently you view them as adults.
Yes.
Because Daniel would listen, hey, you out of order, sir.
You out of order. Oh.
Lucky she lasted 14 years, because sir, you're crazy.
My goodness. That was good. That was good. Ash.
Yeah. Yeah, watching this, there even just out the gate, the beginning part, I was getting a little choked up. I was like, wow, it's coming in like that. We'll get to it once we talk about her.
Oh,
Where when she comes home from work
okay. Okay.
and they have that conversation. I
Okay.
was like, woo.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I'll let us get there. Okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
how early you were talking. I was
Oh,
like, dang, choked up. Okay. All right.
early.
Okay.
It just was like, but anyway, we'll get to it.
Yeah. I love y'all.
Love you too, man. But yeah, having my adult lens, obviously going through my own personal journey of divorce, prior to I'm married again, but yeah. So just being an adult and going through some of these challenges where I don't really want to step in. I don't want to step on the scenes.
What?
So it's
Okay.
kind of like,
Don't step on the scene. Just kind of vaguely cover like how things, how you connected or how the movie felt this time versus how it felt as a kid.
okay. So how it felt as a kid was it was just a funny movie. So as a kid, that's all I saw. As an adult, I'm realizing the real life situations that's going on when you are a parent, which I am now, being a wife as well, the challenges of marriage and parenting and working. So just going through the day-to-day life, as an adult, I've seen it all in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you got to do what you got to do for the kids, make the ends meet, but there's another party involved, so it looked at it totally different. Still thought it was hilarious because
Mm-hmm.
Robin Williams is who he is, but yeah, can't wait to get into the scenes and then I can elaborate a little more on certain things.
Okay.
But yeah.
For me, like I spoke about as far as like how he just nailed that watching it this time, obviously us being parents and adults or grown-ups rather, you're looking at it differently because you can't help but to look at it differently because you're not the kids, anymore. So you still sympathize with the kids, but you've made it through that stage. So it's a time capsule when watching all of these films. If y'all didn't know, that's the twist. So this time around, what I thought as a kid, of course, like similar to both y'all, it was a funny movie. It was, you're not looking at all of the like maybe flags or certain things. It was like, I kind of understand more on this side. Like you could tell the movie was trying to sway us one way, you know, but as you get older and you got a little bit more understanding and wisdom and life experience, you even though they're trying to sway us one way, because that's you got a purpose when making film. Like you got a purpose. I'm trying to sell you on this angle or this narrative, but as you get older, you understand how to consider all parties. It always changes your viewing. And as this time around watching it was like the one thing I just jumped out right away, and we'll get into the moments of all that, but like just I thought he was a lot more immature as a kid than when I watched it this time. Like that's the thing I remember the most. I was like, man, dude, he's just a clown. He's doing the most. This time I watched, I mean, again, obviously dressing up as a nanny, a grandma, yeah, it's as silly as it gets. But who he is as Daniel, I thought he was way more wild. Let's put it that way. Like when I as a kid, I was like, this dude, you can't take nothing serious. Like, but there was moments and little windows that were open that I seen. I said, oh, okay. Like there's some stuff he stood for, some stuff that he just wasn't with. So it was just things that I noticed more about him. I just thought he was just he was the fun husband, fun dad. Everything's a joke. He have a good time, but never takes things serious, and things don't resonate for him. And I seen a lot more heart looking at it and looking at the adults watching it than I did before. So that really stood out the most by far for me. So with that being said, I throw the ball in your court, Mia G. We're getting into the moments that were all at. So that's where you going first?
Okay, so the first thing I had was just that opening scene, seeing Daniel at work and seeing how he kind of operates. Like his job is kind of childish, like voice acting for cartoons. And that's really cool. Like as a kid, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is a grown up making cartoons. But then you see kind of like you said, like what he stands for. And he quits his job in that opening scene because it goes against his beliefs. You know, they had the cartoon, you know, basically smoking cigarettes or having cigarettes shoved down his throat. And he's like, these are kids. Like, we have to make it clear that smoking cigarettes is not okay. Of course, the boss is like, you know, you're going to read what's on the script or you got to get out. And so he just, you know, piss off.
Piss off.
And then, you know, it goes into that next very pivotal scene that is definitely all that. But I think this opening scene just gives you a little look into kind of what you're getting into with a person like Daniel. Very principled, but maybe not a little impulsive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe not as even keeled as he should be.
You got that opening scene too, Ash?
I got right after that where he picks the kids up.
Okay.
So
I'm before that. I got that too.
Okay.
But yeah, same thing. Just again, like not to even. I'm not gonna say the same thing, but everything that Mia said, just he was standing on morals and impulsive. I think that was a wonderful way to look at it, because that is exactly what it is. It's like his approach could have been different, and you know, at that time, he's not. You know, I'd imagine he's left a lot of jobs. That's the sentiment that we got through the movie. So for him, it's like, bro, I'm gonna figure it out. And I would say, man, look, the 90s was just a different time. You know, we we contemplate all the time on like, I'm just gonna leave this job, man. I'll leave this job. I find another one tomorrow, man. Man, what's up? Indeed, what's up? What's up? The resume's popping. I can go on 3 phone interviews tomorrow. But never do it though. But this man clearly just walked out like, all right, man, hey, look. And just obviously the humor of them smoking cigarettes, so they didn't relate to nothing he was talking about, because all 3 of them behind on the other side of the booth was, you know. And I thought too, this was a little meta, you know, kind of breaking the fourth wall. Robin Williams, we know him well enough from Aladdin, being the genie. So a little meta. I thought that was creative. I don't know who thought that would be dope, but I think it was dope. And as a kid, I never thought about this as a job. I just thought he was doing something for fun. I don't know. But as I got older, I'm like, bro, this is what I would love to do. Like, I want to voice act. I would love to be the voice for your audiobook, be the voice for one of your favorite cartoons. Like, you know. So yeah, everything Mia said, just those little things too. Just it you know. But Ash, I know you say you got the picking them up as the next moment. It was
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, it was definitely all that. But I agree with you and Mia on that scene. It showed his passion and his dreams, and pretty much he's not going to settle until lands where he wants to land. But yeah, so I have him picking up the kids, and out the gate, they're already like, he picked them up early or something, and they're like, "You got fired." So it's already, like you said, preconceived that he's a job hopper. Like the stability is not really there on dad's side, and this is kind of what we know. And so I thought that was a pivotal moment because it does take us into the dynamic of the household, like as we continue to get further, like as far as with the dad. We know he does voices, he reads with the little one, and that's his passion, like that's his thing. And but also that's creating friction with the mother. So I thought that was a pivotal moment. It just kind of, even the kids' perspective of it is like, did you get fired? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what does dad do for work at this point? So
He Tommy Strong.
exactly.
But yeah, you had the next scene, the picking up, or is that what you were alluding to, or
Talking to me?
you said you
Oh,
had
me.
the picking up scene. I
Oh,
thought you were just kind of kind of
yeah, that was the
reacting.
scene, picking them up from school. And so the next one I have is the birthday party.
Okay, where are you at with it, Mia?
Same birthday party.
Yep. I got like right
Actually,
after the birthday
I
party
have
scene.
something right before that, actually.
Okay, go for it.
So I have just seen Miranda at work. So you got to see Daniel at work, and then you jump over and you see Miranda at work, and it's much more um serious, a little bit more corporate. She's an interior designer, not decorator, designer, different, you know. And she's in her boardroom in a meeting going over, these displays. And she gets a little, gets called to step out, and her boss is letting her know that, Stuart asked for her by name, and you can kind of see already a little something, something in the mix when Stuart's name comes out. Oh,
Oh.
he asked for me personally, Stuart.
Holla,
Oh.
holla, 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 holla.
And then, right after that, right after that, she gets a call from her neighbor, like, girl, you got to come home. Shit's out of control over here.
That neighbor was wild too, but yeah.
Listen.
That's good. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That is a small detail. I'm glad you brought that up because I
That was
definitely
really good.
that was yeah. I kind of it kind of slipped past me, but that was a great contrast like that they were showing there. That's pretty brilliant. So then, okay, so we're all in the kind of the birthday party and going into the post birthday party cleanup. So, Ash, you said you're at the initial birthday party.
Yeah. When Miranda comes home, I mean, he got all the animals, got the whole kingdom out there. I don't know how he pulled that off. I don't know who allowed him to take these animals from the zoo or wherever have you, because that's crazy.
It is.
So she comes, she's getting out the car. You got the cops out there trying to tell her, "Ma'am, what's going on at your crib?" And she clearly already got indication from the nosy neighbor, but she's still coming home with birthday gifts. But she just got a cake and a bag, and he got all these animals. Then she walks in. They are having a blast. I mean, first of all, I didn't see any parents other than Daniel. So I'm thinking like there's no more chaperones, first of all. Um, but yeah, all the kids in the neighborhood at the crib, they dancing, having a good time. He on the table, he doing a choreography with his son, and it's a hot mess. Again, takes you into the dynamic. Um, he's like a big kid. Daniel is very immature, and it's like, I mean, he wants your kids to have a good time, but bro, like, now granted, she left work early. Maybe he would have had it cleaned up before she got home, but that was a hot mess. Um, so yeah, just that's what I had for the initial birthday reaction.
Mm. The party was lit. Like, let's be clear before we get into the grown up answer. The party was lit. As kids, like, come on, we hopping, jumping, like,
Yeah.
like we're having a great time. Like, this is the birthday party you wish you would had, and you know you're not gonna have because you ain't got them type of parents. So you get to go over there and really get the wild out. They don't care if it's stains, cake, icing on the ground, Hawaiian punch on the cart, like what, like you could tell, like it didn't. You ain't. I'm gonna clean it all up. Oh man, listen, we running around, we doing whatever. I don't think we ever been privy to that level of birthday party. But these movies always gave us that imagination to say, like, man, wouldn't that be great? Trampoline and it's really wild work to just you got animals and y'all live like in a townhome condo off the corner. It's like here's what I will say him being able to spin that around that quick, that shows that Daniel is like he get things done. Like I think that speaks to that. Like how he finds jobs, how he can one of his skills that I've noticed is that like he's a creative thinker because he's a creative person, and so he can figure out how to get the job done. But when you're with a person like Miranda, that it all works differently, buddy. But like for him to say, oh, okay, I'm gonna put this whole birthday party together and do this in this amount of time. I got fired, whatever. And then of course, when he becomes Miss Doubtfire and know, oh, his skill of having voices, watch this. That is a interesting trait that he has that I thought was dope. But yeah, that I don't really have nothing else to add to like the birthday party other than, bro, that as a kid, this is ideal. Let me, bro. I hope I'm your friend. Come on.
Um, yeah. So I my little 2 cents about the birthday party. Um, Miranda comes home, the police are there. Ma'am, you can't have farm animals. They live in San Francisco. They don't even have grass,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, good point.
Why do you have a horse in my dining room? Why are
Yeah.
you standing on my dining room table? Like, what are you doing? And then, not to mention, I told you that this boy couldn't have a birthday party. So already we see you are not a team player. We're not a united front here as parents. You're not really a team player because if you were, you wouldn't always have to be the fun parent. Like you're supposed to have my back.
Yeah.
So of course, you knew that I would flip out about this birthday party. You did it anyway. So when I come in flipping out, now I look like the bad guy and you look like the hero. And that you see from the next scene that that's the dynamic. And she's just kind of like fed up with that shit.
Mm. Yeah. Well, let's go into it.
Yeah.
Let's go right into that scene because now you're already there. So why don't you go more further elaborate into that? Because I know Ash will come behind that. Because I would love to hear what you were saying in your overall thoughts.
So, they see her, she gets under there, she unplugs the radio, they up there, he's being silly with his little hip hop thing. And you see in the kids' faces, they already know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking like, oh shit, mom's home, dad is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you
That's how I
know,
go for real too. That's how I go for real.
party. you know?
The
And
rap.
and then, party's over, and the next thing you see is him and Miranda arguing in the kitchen. And it's like she's trying to tell him, like, why do you always have to paint me as the villain? You always have to go over the top. You always have to do too much, basically. Like, yeah, I told our son that he couldn't have a birthday party, but I got him cake, I got him gifts. I was still going to celebrate him in the way that I felt was appropriate because he's not doing well in school. And you just still had to take it there.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can't do this shit no more. It's over. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. Mm.
What is the okay? Well, I'll ask the question after, but sorry, go ahead.
And basically, he's like, we love each other. And she's looking at him like, do we actually?
Do we?
Do we know? I don't know about that. You
You
love me.
You sure about that?
You sure about that? And it's like, and it's just it was just it was a moment where, and it happened so fast. Like it kind of like in these movies, you don't like, there seems to be like a bubbling up, but you instantly see their differences, and then you instantly see where he had her fucked up at. And she was like, you know what? This was the moment. This was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I'm just done with this shit.
Yep. Yep. Ash.
Yeah, you had a question, or you want me to say my part first?
I say your part first because I wanna make sure you get your raw emotions off before I ask the question. And with you.
Well, no, I think that was a powerful scene. I mean, Mia really hit it on the nose. I mean, this shows who the disciplinarian is. She's obviously the breadwinner because he's like hopping jobs, and she's always having to be considered the bad guy. You're the fun parent. I can be fun, but because I'm the one that has to discipline you, I'm looked at as the not so fun parent. And again, like Mia said, we're supposed to be a united front, a team, and you just go all the way out for a kid who is not doing well in school. It's like, what is important to Daniel as far as when he's wearing his parent hat, other than like making sure they're happy or they're having fun. You have to have that balance of like, put your foot down when things, when they messing up, you gotta correct that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was a moment again, show the dynamic. And what got me was like he didn't know it was that bad. And because obviously there was a disconnect in communication. Look at me face. Like she like, how did he not know? But now like Miranda didn't
They don't want to
seem like
know.
right. It seemed like she didn't voice that to him directly. And for someone like him, he has to hear it directly, in my opinion.
Yep.
So she may have felt that way. It could have been signs, but she didn't actually say it. So like that moment where he was like, "We love each other, right?" And like I think like it just hit her like, I am no longer in love with this man. Like she probably never thought about it until he actually put her in that position to have to say, "I'm fucking done." You know what I mean? So I just thought that was, and he, of course, with the tears and like he was really,
Yeah.
he was getting to it. So it was an emotional scene. I was like, wow, that was so powerful. It
Nah,
be
it
like
was.
that, man.
And it does. And then so then okay, so you said this moment had you kind of teary eyed, like kind of.
Yeah.
Why
Well,
was that?
it was actually because of Daniel, even though I understood. It was just that he was pleading for his marriage in that moment, but it was already over.
Yeah.
Um, just how it was showing like he loves her deeply, but
Yeah.
it's over.
And even the moment where she said it, and he's like, let's go to therapy. And she's like, it's too late. And he's
Hmm.
like, let's go on a vacation. No.
Yeah, like nothing you can do is
Like
can
it's just
repair us at this point.
I would like
So,
to revisit this when they get down to the kind of confessional moment when he's in the Mrs. Doubtfire, you know,
mm,
where they had a
I got that
conversation at the
too.
table. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
would love to come back to that and just kind of see, you know, did they both really do everything they needed to do to try to be successful, you know? But in this scene, huh?
I have thoughts.
Oh, I know. You got thoughts and faces.
I didn't know.
What do you mean he didn't know? They don't want to know. But yeah, it was just a hard. This is what I was alluding to in my overall, our overall discussion element of it is like this moment of seeing like, okay, there's a serious element there, with him, and it's like, okay, we're not playing games, we're not doing this. Like, okay, I was gonna clean up, I was gonna, again, it never comes off like he's just trying to be this douchebag that he really is trying to overstep her. It to me, it didn't come off like that. It just seems like he's like when we get to the court scene, it's like, no, this brother loves his kids ridiculously a lot. It's funny coming off the Goofy movie, right? And now we're here. Like he really loves his kids at a high level, as high as a father can really be shown on film, outside of probably some other movies we can come to mind. And so with that understanding, it's like his whole mindset is like, I'm trying to make their childhood so dope, but he didn't realize,
About your
wow,
wife.
you forgot about your wife, and you didn't think about how much that challenged her. And that's where those moments come where you say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna set it up like this, let's communicate. And I'm gonna throw it and say, hey, yo, mommy put this together. Mommy's the hero in the story now. Like mommy, like even if we gotta go to animals, she's like, I don't want to do. I clean. Okay, I'll tell you what. How about we do this? I got this whole idea. I'll put this. It's on you. I'll tell them that you did. You come in with the cake. That's where you communicate. But like Mia said earlier, his impulsiveness is what affected the marriage, and it is amazing and a blessing that they lasted for 14 years, because it always makes you wonder how Miranda was prior. She obviously wasn't as serious as she was here. And of course, when we get to the later scene of her talking about how she don't like who she is when she's with him, was just a deep, a deep thing as well. But yeah, that scene had a lot of heart. Like that's what I did not remember as a kid. Like the level of him fighting for his marriage, and like we love each other. And I always thought he was just all fun, And this was moments like, oh, this is not fun, And I appreciated that so much. So
Yeah, man. Once we get later in the episode, at a later segment, I have a lot of little things that this scene and then probably some more that we're gonna get into really like help me come to my decision. But man, listen,
this movie,
yeah,
wow,
relatable,
Miss
relatable content.
relatable content. Mrs. Doubtfire, come on now. I love see, this movie would have worked as just like this discussion style because it's so much. But this movie, I love when movies that are meant to be a comedy have like some undertones that it's not so funny, it's actually something real. So yeah. But anyway, I don't want belaborers to make us be here all night talking about this great film.
This,
We all are parents, and so we got, you know, things to do as well. But okay. So Ash, what's your next moment? Let's see if we all lined up on this next moment that was all that.
I got the courtroom, the court scene, the initial court scene.
Did the unemployment office? Okay, so I'm after that. Then my next thing is the unemployment office or whatever. Mia, are you at the court scene as well?
I'm actually before that. I just had a little teeny tiny tidbit about beating Daniel's brother, Frank, and his partner.
Oh, okay. Right, that was like right before when he kind of was like put out. Okay,
Mhm.
so yeah, go for it. Then we'll go to Ash and we'll go to me.
I thought that, again, another little thing about this movie kind of being ahead of its time, like the representation. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, his brother was gay and his
Mhm.
brother had a partner. They worked in like prosthetics and FX makeup. And I feel like they didn't paint the representation as a joke, which a lot of,
Yep.
like, of course, it was funny, a part
Mhm.
of the comic relief because the actor playing the gay
Yeah,
brother
yeah, right.
in, his own right. But like they treated it with respect
Yep.
and with sensitivity, which a lot of 90s content didn't do.
Not at
Um,
all. Not at all.
and also just like seeing how much in denial Daniel was when he was talking to his brother. He's like, I know Miranda, it'll blow over, and then boom, next scene court.
Quick segue. Yeah, I was gonna say he was like, "Oh, it'll blow over," and then we in the courtroom. And
Mhm.
so that's what I love that segue because that shows that she was serious. Um, yeah, she gets sole custody. He gets a Saturday, one Saturday, a week. And the judge is still the judge can see that he loves his children. So he does have faith, from based on, him meeting him and how he speaks of his children. So he gives him 3 months. I didn't have too much to say in this scene, but just the fact that it went from oh she'll get over it to we're in the courtroom. I love that transition of Nick. I'm not playing,
Yeah.
but yeah. So judge gives him 3 months to try to get his stuff together, and yeah. So
uh,
that's all I
to,
had on that part.
to add to that, the court scene element of it, it definitely comes off like Miranda has held stuff in for a long time.
Hmm.
14 years she's held off stuff. I would probably say 8 of them, 8 out of the 14 was like solid where it starts, kind of looking like, okay, I love this man. He is the father of my children, but these things I waited and I had faith and hope that it would change, and it's not changing. And you waited, and she probably waited around for 6 more years additionally, and it's like, okay, this is who you are, and you're not going to change. Not to say that everything about you is bad, but the things that are affecting our relationship are constantly getting in the way that I don't like who I am when I'm with you, and I can't love you because these things are it. That's the thing about when you let stuff fester and sit for years, eventually it's going to come out because it just keeps stacking up and then it oozes out. Then it's like extra passion. Like, where's this coming from? And that's always the tricky part of it all, where it's like, where's this coming from? I've been feeling like this. You've been feeling like this. Where this come from? Then why didn't you say it then? That's the trickiest thing about the complexity of relationships. And watching this movie, you get that kind of undertone. So like him thinking like, oh, it'll blow over. Like, no, a person like Miranda that's meticulous, that's a very intelligent woman. If she finally makes that decision, she's sat on it for a while. Because I imagine we haven't had this. Do we want to do this? Do we not want to do this? What about the kids conversation? That Miranda never came off like that. She came off like very strategic type of woman. And when she finally came out and said it, oh no, I mean it. Because you got to understand when you teeter around the idea, y'all understand. I'm not saying y'all, but the people that are listening, when you teeter with the idea, and I've had my fair share of conversations, but like when you teeter with the idea of divorce, there's certain verbiages that you use where you're not fully sure until you just flat out come out. There's moments like, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't be. Maybe you staying maybe, you're still on the fence, but when you flat outright come out, you understand that if this person obliges and accept this, there's no turning back and saying, oh, well, I didn't really mean that. So you're teeter around the maybe and the possibility of things before you finally say, okay, it can't be fixed or it can't be repaired. I have to move on. So it's this movie, man. Yeah, this movie just wow. This
I
movie
didn't know
is
my pick was gonna bring all this out.
nah, man. What a pick! This is a game changing pick right here, for real, for real. But yeah, so the scene that I got just briefly, is just the unemployment office. It's just funny, like showing the lady his different voices. You're trying to get a job, you're trying to get set up. It's 90s slap comedy, but it's just funny. It's like this is wild to go to an unemployment office and like, oh, I got a talent to do this, and you're doing all these voices. And the way they chopped it, it was just funny to me, like in a '90s style way. It was like this is so silly, and I enjoyed it because it made me happy in the sense that like, man, this is how our humor used to be. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's where I'm at.
I had that too.
You had that too.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, nothing to touch on. You said it. And that's the lady from Liar Liar as well.
Mhm.
The
Remember,
Jim
she
Carrey
was
and
his assistant. So I was
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, she finna kill
she's
it.
good. She's good.
But yeah, I thought that was funny too.
All right. So what you got next, me and G? Let's see where we lined up here.
So I have that first visitation scene with him and the kids, and he's in his new little apartment, not really, he hasn't gotten his shit together yet. Like, Miranda was late dropping the kids off. She's early picking them up, but she comes in and they still haven't really established any boundaries. She just comes in and spot like, hey, it's time to go. And he's like, you know, but even before she comes in, you know, Lydia, the oldest, she's like, all right, guys, it's time to go. Mom's here. And he's like, no, sit down. You're my goddamn kids too.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she comes in and she's like, listen, I gotta go to the dry cleaner. I gotta go put this ad in the paper. I gotta do all these things. I don't have time for this.
Life is a mother,
You know?
man.
You know?
You know.
Right? What are we talking about?
And so, he reasonably, understandably wants his time with his kids. He's very limited in the time that he gets anyway.
Yeah.
But then he asks her, what do you need a housekeeper for? She's like, I need somebody to be there with the kids before I get home from work. When they get home from school, I need somebody there, help with the homework, maybe start dinner, help me with the house because now I'm a single working mom and I need some help. And he's like, why can't I do it? No. Last time you were in my house, there were horses in my dining room. No, I don't need your help.
Horses in the
But
stable.
Mo, please. But yeah, so he's like, let me see the ad. And he changes the phone number. And you already see his impulsive,
Mm-hmm.
creative mind at work already. She hasn't even got a chance to put the ad in. He's already sabotaging her plans to find a housekeeper, which is like, dude, okay, you out of line, but we go see where it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Ash, do you have that scene as well, or is there something before that, or
I have that, but I did have something before where Stewart shows up to Miranda's job. I think that was
I
before
got that
that.
too. I just called him
Um,
GoldenEye.
yeah,
Golden
007,
007.
right?
Double
That's
O
what I was
Seven. Yeah,
like.
that's 007.
Yeah,
Shout out to the Nintendo
Stewart.
64. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Shout out
James
to
Bond.
Stewart.
The
How you
first
doing? How
okay.
you
She
doing?
she she did. I did.
Yeah, Stewart is definitely.
He came through.
Anyway,
I see what was up. He was, he looked like
yeah,
one of them guys.
very handsome guy. Um,
He still look good to this day.
yeah, but yeah,
Oh yeah, he was in that November Man, wasn't it? That's the same. Yeah. All right. Shouts out
aging
to
pretty
him.
well. But yeah, Stewart, come holler at me and G, man.
Yeah, silly.
Come
she
get her. Come
she
get it.
said
She ready?
she ready. How you know?
Hey, look. Um, but yeah, him showing up to her job and she's lit up like she's having those like first time feels, those jitters, like she's feeling wanted and
Yeah.
she's trying to focus on work. Okay, so remind me, guys. So she knew him from college. Like, did she used to date him and then somehow her and Daniel ended up? Is that kind of how that went?
It
Pretty
seemed like
much.
something along those lines. They got some
They
history for sure.
yeah,
Like there
so
was
but
some
they didn't
like
really touch on it. So I was like,
romantic tension. I feel like
It was not
yeah,
He basically just said, like, I always hoped you would find happiness. So there was something there, but
Yeah.
we don't know what happened exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's definitely like some romantic tension
Yeah,
that
for
that
sure.
they that they must have had back then. Like it's definitely there, and it could have been a career thing. He might have excelled first, and or something like that. And Daniel came; he was the fun guy and made her laugh, and he wasn't around. That's the way I interpret it. I mean, again, I don't have no evidence on that, but yeah, I got that scene as well too. But go ahead, Ash.
That's pretty much it. I just like, I mean, obviously she's in a vulnerable state.
Mm-hmm.
The divorce process is fresh, and you got this new but old guy coming in, kind of giving you that eye, giving you that play, and she's feeling it. She's all giddy about it.
Yeah.
Daniel, who at this moment?
I mean, damn, Daniel.
So, yeah, I just, I'm
I
just
mean,
saying,
it's a huge deal though.
it
Like
happens. It does.
like when you're fresh off of like when you're going your separate ways, and you'll get in a position where you know sometimes you can find yourself insecure because you have always serviced this individual. They've looked at you as beautiful, or they looked at you as handsome, good looking. You've served what their desire has been for so long, and things have changed. You might have children, or things have changed. You're not who you were before when you were on the market, and so insecurities and things could set in. So when a person like him comes in, 007, it's like he still look at you like, yo, you hot. Mia,
Mia feeling that boy.
Mia, y'all gotta watch the YouTube if y'all haven't. Mia is hilarious, bro. She's nailing it though.
She's feeling it
But
live.
yeah, she's feeling it. But like, no, seriously, it's like when you come to that conclusion, like where you might question, like, I don't know if I still really got, and it's different for women. Like women, I feel like y'all, what's up. Like, okay, let me just, all right, yeah, I got it. But I feel like men, if you're on the other side of the situation, if it was like a Daniel situation, like not knowing, it's like, dang, I thought I was just like full dad out type thing, and it's like, oh, wow, okay, I guess I'm still desirable in some people's eyes, and that's a huge deal for what Miranda was feeling, in my opinion. It's like, oh wow, I'm looking at him. He's very attractive. We were attracted back then. I've had my 3 children, and I've slowed down. I've chilled. I've gotten more serious, and he's still looking at me like I'm work. I'm hot. I'm still hot out here, and that's a big deal. That's why he's all nervous. Like, oh man, whoa, So, and it take you a minute to like believe that this person really like looking at me like that because of your own personal thoughts of yourself, trying to figure out how to navigate this new situation. So yeah, I got that as well. And I think I had that as well. I'm not going to add any more to as far as that first visitation. I got pretty much what Mia said. So Mia, what do you have after that? We'll see where we at after the visitation scene.
So I had, because he changed the ad. I had him showing up at his brother's house and saying, "Can you make me a woman?" And then the whole montage of him trying on all the different disguises.
Oh, so he already got the job. So he's already did the phone call situation. Because
yeah, I didn't do the phone call part, but
okay.
But
fair enough.
Going into after that, him calling with all the voices, yeah.
Do you have anything before that, or
Me?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I just him calling. I thought that was just another scene of showing his creativity. Obviously, he knows this is in his realm.
Yeah, great nugget.
Right. So
it's good.
Yep, and then right where Mia is, where he's doing the makeover, and they getting him ready.
So okay, so go ahead, elaborate. What did you take from that? What made that all that?
Again, just the process of making a man become a woman is just it's always funny to me. And again, he's doing the voices as they're changing the hair and the makeup and trying to see what fits who he's trying to become, that is nanny-ish, I guess. So so I just love that process, and then coming up with the mask and the bodysuit. It was just making me think of Big Mama House as well. when
Hmm.
Martin was going through his transition. So I was just tying that all in. But yeah, that was just trying to get him into the right character. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
I know you were saying what did you have the same things about that scene, or you have anything else that
I
kind of?
did. It is so funny because you guys know I went to a play yesterday. I went to the theater here. If you're from Cincinnati, hey, Aronofsky
Hey.
for the arts. And me and my sister went to see Funny Girl. And that it was so funny because in that whole montage, when he had on the little blonde bob wig, and the song that they were singing was actually a song from the play that I went to see yesterday.
Mm.
Um the the song from the play Funny Girl, Don't Rain on My Parade, which I'm not even gonna try to sing. But if you would, look it up, movie starring Barbara Streisand.
Mm. Deep.
But it was just funny because I
Okay.
was like, oh shoot, like I just like this was my first time seeing that play, and then I always knew that line or that song from Mrs. Doubtfire from him singing it. And that was
Mm.
the first place I ever heard it before I even knew what it was. But I just thought that was really funny. And him with, you know, the the black bob wig and the nails, and
The
he's doing
black
like
bob wig was crazy.
a Hispanic accent. He's like, "Is this too much for the children? I don't want to scare them." And then he's got on the, it was just hilarious, and it
Yeah,
was
nah.
very
90s funny for
Robin
sure.
Williams,
Mhm.
Yes.
90s humor, and they just don't make them like that no more.
No.
No.
People just take it too personal. It's like it's not a my humor is not to be offensive to you. My humor is just I'm trying to make you laugh. And I think that's where we've gotten away from in the movies and things now. It's like you think I'm trying to in order to make people laugh, I'm trying to hurt you. And that's the problem where we're at today. It's like because I'm trying to make you laugh don't mean I'm trying to hurt you. Now there are times where people don't get it right, where it's like, okay, you're trying to set up a bit on a podcast to be funny, but it's like you can tell you're intentionally trying to hurt somebody in order to be funny, versus like, no, I'm just trying to be funny and it happened to hurt somebody. That's
Mhm.
that's what the '90s were, in the early 2000s. It's I'm being funny, and now people look back and they have retroactive lens and they say, "Oh, this was offensive." Oh, this, yeah, but it was fun. It was the culture, just like the '50s, just like the 1800s. It was the culture. Shout out to the Culture Garden. So, but yeah, I think my next scene is probably when the inspector lady came over. So I think that's after when he came over as Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't know if y'all both had that scene or not when he came over to meet the kids for the first time. I didn't have it, but
Yeah.
I did.
okay, go for it.
Yes, I had Miss Doubtfire meeting the kids for the first time, and how um you can see Daniel as Miss Doubtfire using his knowledge of his kids to relate to them, to like get in there. And the only one who wasn't going was Lydia because
Mm-hmm.
she's like, no, like, why can't we spend this extra time with our dad? And it was just, you can see the disguise was really good because I had to go in my mind and I'm thinking, like, okay, they've been married for 14 years. She knows what he looks like, but is this disguise good enough to where she wouldn't recognize him? And I had to say, I thought it was. Like, I felt like he looked like a completely different person. Like, if
Yeah.
you didn't know, you wouldn't know. But, he's talking to Natalie about Stuart Little, and oh, she was just so cute and innocent and a little baby.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
talking to Chris about, soccer and football and but then you get to Lydia and she's like, no, like I'm not going. Like, we don't need a housekeeper. We could be spending this time with our dad. And then she kind of had that little moment of getting on Miranda because she started to go into, well, Daniel is the type of person, and maybe you want to ask the kids to step out before you verbally bash their father.
Mm.
I probably won't ever see him again.
That's good. That's good.
but but it was just kind of like seeing oh, like I love the whole like it's just so weird looking at it as a grown up because while you love the concept of Miss Doubtfire, you also see like this is like a huge violation because
Violation.
now
Yeah.
like you get to see the things that Miranda would say, about him or about herself when he's not there.
Hmm.
And he's kind of like privy to information that he wouldn't have. But also, you kind of see that the kids, they're open. But Lydia, being the oldest, she's got that rebellious, like teenage mind going. And she's just like,
Yeah.
it's going to take her a little longer to warm up to the idea.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. This is not the scene which that was a later scene when he came onto the job and she came out and apologized, right?
Yeah, that was
A
later.
later scene. Okay. All right. So do you have the inspector lady coming over as well, Ash?
um, yeah, but I do have the scene that she just mentioned. She pretty
Oh,
much
okay.
covered all bases, but I thought it was a funny scene. What's the son's name? Andrew.
Chris.
Oh, Chris. I don't know why I said Andrew. He was like, "You're big for a lady. You could be a 49er." I thought that was hilarious, dude. And yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I played women's football or something." He said,
Rugby or
um,
something,
"Yeah, but that was funny." And
European
then the part
football.
like,
yeah. Mm.
yeah, and then like she said, surely you would dismiss the kids before you just bash their father. Like, it's funny because like there's so many small parts of humor from Robin Williams
Oh
and a
yes.
few different scenes that I'm literally cracking up at because I'm like, people
The
wouldn't catch it if you ain't really like
the shade,
listening.
bro. The
Yeah,
shade
the
is crazy.
shade. Like when we get to the dinner, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Oh man, we'll get to the pool. Like
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's genius.
yeah.
But yeah, Mia kind of she covered that on all bases, but I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
There
So
was
from
just a teeny, teeny, I'm sorry,
no,
Mo.
you fine.
There was just a teeny, 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 tiny little scene in between that and the next scene that you guys were gonna get to, where after she meets the kids, Miranda and Miss Doubtfire are in the kitchen, and you know, I'm gonna say she as Miss Doubtfire
Yeah.
because separate character.
Yeah.
Kind of like maneuvering through the kitchen. He's like, and Miranda's like, "You sure do know your way through the kitchen." Oh, it's because it's just so well organized, you know?
Right.
But then, they get to talking, and of course, Daniel, as Miss Doubtfire, is trying to pry and put a little bug in her ear about, like, oh, well, marriage, sorry,
You fine.
uh, saying that marriage can be such a blessing. And she's like, so can divorce. And it was like,
What
ouch.
that line
Mm,
that
Getting
line
that inside scoop.
that
Mm.
line was something, huh? Like just
Doesn't
mm,
have to be a bad thing.
yeah.
mm,
Like cuz it's like this is 14 years after.
Hmm.
So it's like Miranda was sure.
Yeah.
She was sure. And so for her it's like once you get to the state of being sure, you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel in the sense of like, okay, who am I now? Who will I be after this, after the dust is settled? Because I've made the decision, this is what I'm doing. And so her even saying that, it's like I've committed to that decision. So I'm not looking back at like, oh, how to rework it and make it work. I'm looking towards this is where we're going because I've committed to that decision.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, that was great point, Mia G. Like that was a great little subtlety. But for me, like the inspector lady comes over because he ends up booking the first like kind of the
Interview or
orientation, I guess you
yeah.
can call it, as a nanny on the same night that the inspector comes, Monday nights and Friday nights. I think And so he gets back and the specter's there and he forgets all of this. And so now we get into the conflict and the true pacing of the movie. And these are the moments you realize Robin Williams is a GOAT.
Go.
This is silly, but it takes so much skill to do this. And one of the just a funny throwaway line. He says, he's dressed up, he's going back and forth, and then he don't have the mask. He says Norman Bates. Like if people are familiar with Psycho and Norman Bates and Bates Motel, like I'm not gonna. I mean, I can spoil it. This movie's mad old, but like Norman Bates, you thought his mother was alive, but he was really dressing up as his mother. And so that whole like it was a dark but funny joke of Norman Bates. Like it's just like, that was good. That was so good to me. Like just a subtle and just like again, just bouncing back and forth. That was hard work. Like and that was full, like no stunt doubles. Robert Williams, I believe that he wanted to commit and showcase his physical humor as well as he gave everything, physical humor, vocal humor, the script humor, everything. I think he just committed all the way through. So it was just a funny scene and I like it. I mean, again, this is 90s. It's not believable now. Like there's no way you and him don't never show up at the same time, obviously. But at the time it's fun. It's fun. So
it was hilarious, like him throwing his voice, like
yeah.
And of course the meringue facial when he's like he drops his mask out the window and he gets run over, he just smashes his face in the pie. It's like
hey, great thinking.
People ask you like, what's something you say out of nowhere?
Hello.
Just he pops his head up with the meringue all over his face.
Yeah, in sync here. Good, great scene, funny scene, and he put his foot in his mouth talking about, yeah, my sister makes a great English tea, and she's like, oh, well, I would love some. Like, bro, you should have just let it lie. You put that pressure on yourself. But yeah, the back and forth, I was watching, I was so impressed.
Yeah,
like that was impressive. Yeah, the meringue dropping in it. Oh, you want some more cream? Here's another drop. Yo. And then when he walks away and then she's like rubbing it on her face, like to get rid of those lines or whatever he said. But,
yeah.
Yeah, solid scene.
Yeah.
Great scene.
What do you got next, Mia G?
So I had the little part where Stuart meets Mrs. Doubtfire for the first time.
Okay. I think I'm before that. Ash, what do you got next?
I'm before too. I have his first Miss Doubtfire first day on the job.
Okay, that's what I got.
Yeah, I had that. I skipped over it.
Okay. So go for that.
Oh yeah, so just setting the tone. He's not Daniel in this moment. He is Miss Doubtfire, and you guys are going to respect and obey the rules that I have set. She tells him, yeah, I got to go up there, do your homework, getting pushed back. All right. Well, we're going to do some cleaning then. We're going to do some manual labor. Would Daniel ever do this? Probably not. So that, again, creating that separation there. And it's like, dude, you got to apply that as their father.
But maybe you knew this.
You know what I'm saying? Huh?
I said, but maybe you knew this.
Nah, man.
Because like, where did you get this all of a sudden?
I mean, you should know it. You're a parent, but you're not applying it. So that's the problem. And that's why we're in the courthouse. You know what I'm saying? It's keeping it a bean. But
you call this being a father.
Right. Like, what do we do? It's in you? Oh, okay, do it.
Yeah.
But anywho. But yeah, so just setting the tone for the dynamic, but not wanting to be too much of a stickler. Like, obviously, you're still their dad and you want to have that time, and they do think you are a fun parent and stuff. So eventually end up, loosening up and doing more fun things. But just in that scene specifically, yeah, I like that dynamic.
Yeah, same thing you said. Him struggling in the kitchen, which is this obviously showcases that he always struggled in the kitchen, was not much of a cook, but him and him finessing the whole thing and putting it together, and it's like dinner is served, and like putting the whole sweet music and candle, like it's such 90s. It's
For
so
the
90s. Like
Chinese.
I was like, this is so 90s, bro. Like it's just like dinner is served, and that's just the day is saved. Like he ends up leaving, and the food. I mean, talk about dedication. Like you got these heels on, and you got man feet, and like you're getting ready to leave, and the oldest daughter comes out and apologizes. And only thing I wanted to add is like, now that's how you raise your kids. When your
Mm-hmm.
kids feel that genuine conviction to apologize, they recognize their missteps or their wrong behavior, and they apologize on their own. Like the simplest thing with your child is like, sometimes it's not always yelling and raising your voice. It's making them say the thing out loud, and they recognize. Like when you tell them, like, I do this, 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 and this, and you treat me like this. Is that fair? And when the child starts to find themselves into tears,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it's like, okay, you're doing a good job as a parent, because they recognize their behavior and they're now convicted by it. But you didn't raise your voice. You just made them see it. And I've had many of moments like that. And so this moment, seeing her leave the house and say, hey, Miss Doubtfire, I haven't seen my mom happy and smile like that in a long time, which was a Easter egg for the later scene that we're alluding to. So it was just really good. I mean, of course, like the dinner, the finesse on the dinner, it is what it is. But I mean,
Bro,
again, the level of commitment, like,
135 for the Chinese.
hey man, imagine how
That
much
was insane.
that is. That was Chinese.
Chinese, and it looked terrible. I was like, ew,
He
because
lit
remember
the candles for Chinese food.
it was Chinese, bro.
Yo, that is wild. Lighting candles and lifting up silver platters to say dinner is served for Chinese food is
And it was
crazy.
all
Work.
healthy stuff, because remember that's what she said. If it's not healthy, but it looked terrible.
That's crazy. Okay. Mia G, what you got next?
So I did have when Stuart met this Doubtfire, but I actually don't even want to get into that. The only thing I had about that really was that he noticed that the accent wasn't really authentic.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
But more important, the scene that I had after that was um Daniel using Miss Doubtfire to pry information out of Miranda, and Miranda kind of pouring her heart out to Miss Doubtfire about her marriage.
Okay. So I got a little
A
bit
little
before
before
that,
too.
because that is such a great
So
scene.
pivotal.
What you got, Ash, before that then?
Oh yeah, I had Stuart meeting the kids. Just that little moment where Miranda was asking Miss Doubtfire for advice. Like she kind of starting to feel the feels, like she kind of want to take Stuart to the next level. She kind of want to get a
Yeah.
little physical.
And
So
she wanted
she's,
she
you know what I mean? She kind of a little hot and bothered. She's like wondering, hey, how long did it take you to kind of, get that same feel after, what was it, Winston passed? Oh, never, never. She's like, the only option is celibacy. What? No, sir.
the shade, because I am
Right,
your husband still.
right,
That's what makes it. I am still your husband. I don't care if I got heels and granny panties on. I'm still your
right.
husband.
Talking about celibacy.
You
No.
are no. I won't accept
Oh
that.
no, dear. Oh no. But yeah, that little
That's really,
moment there.
yeah.
And I think that when the oh well, Brown one. Did you have that too, or
I
I
got
had one?
just the end of that montage. I think it's after that scene where you have there was a montage to do it like a lady, dude look like a lady. I think that's what the lyric. But like that whole day, just the end of the montage when a dude tried to rob him, and like he jacked him up. Like I thought that was funny as a kid, and it still was funny as a grown up. Like nah, bro, this is what you thought this was. Like it's just one of those funny moments, kind of like white chicks where you see the blackness come out at moments. It's like back up, like certain moments that are funny, like where they break character, pretending to be a woman. So it was kind of that moment, like he tried to get jacked by a person and throws him out of there. Like that was that. And then the other scene that I had before was the one with the big reveal when the son finds out that
she's a
bro, trauma. Trauma on trauma. Listen, that was to find that out would be great. All right, never mind. Just in the 90s. That would be so wild of a scene to see this. What is she? British, French? What? I can't remember which one. French?
British.
To see a British grandmother aged woman, and then all of a sudden you see her using the bathroom like how you use the bathroom as a teenage boy, you would like if this was a cartoon, your eyes and your tongue would come out like crazy, like what is going on right now? Like, so that reaction was so good. Shout out to these child actors. They did a great. I mean, the youngest one, I mean, she needed some. She got better later, huh?
Yeah,
Matilda. Yeah, she got better later, but she did okay in this movie. You could tell. I mean, again, I commend any child actor for getting out there. She was adorable, clearly, but it was definitely some like struggle acting moments I noticed. I'm not gonna go hard on it because it's a child at the time.
She was little.
She was little, kid, but it was definitely like, why you keep whispering in every scene? But
I mean, that's what they told her to do.
They didn't tell her to do that. She was trying to like definitely like. Anyways, what do you
don't know?
Shout out to sidebar. Shout out to Matthew Lawrence too. My boy dating Chili. Like, he's the son, and I'm just like, how Matthew he's grown up, and he's dating Chili, bro. Like, shout out to him.
Okay, so I know we all watched Boy Meets World. I have the biggest crush on Matthew Lawrence.
Me too.
Hold on, what was his character on Boy Meets World?
He was Sean's brother when they started college, remember?
Oh, Sean's brother.
It was always Matthew for me.
It's like he looked familiar, but I couldn't remember.
That's him, bro.
So then we're at the scene where Mia is, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so go for it, Mia.
Yeah, so just the scene of Miranda and Miss Doubtfire just kind of sitting in the kitchen, and Miss Doubtfire is asking, what was it about Daniel that you loved initially? And she was saying, he was romantic, he was passionate, and I fell in love with his energy and his spontaneity. But then, years pass, I'm working, we have the kids, and he's always between jobs, and I want to get home and have fun with the kids too, but then the house is a mess and I have to clean it up. And, I'm crying myself to sleep because he's not realizing all of the, the things that he's doing and how they're affecting me. Like, it's no fun being the the one who has to be responsible all the time. So, just this scene of, when you think about it, it's really Daniel, getting information that he didn't get. And even when he's like, did you ever talk to him about it? And she's like, Daniel doesn't like to talk about anything serious. And I think it was like a realization for Daniel, like, wow, she was going through all of this for all these years and I never noticed it. And why didn't she talk to me about it? And kind of Miranda's reasoning being, he never really took anything seriously. Because I have to assume that based off of the whole birthday party situation, that she told him, I don't want him to have a birthday party. You threw one anyway. There are probably many instances when she says something to him,
Yeah.
not necessarily a sit down like, listen, this is exactly what you're doing, and this is exactly how it's affecting me. But more so, could you clean up the house? Could you do this? I'm really tired. I'd love to spend more time with the kids. I love to be able to do something fun. It probably just went in one ear and out the other, but now he's looking at it through this new lens, through this new perspective. He has this new avenue to communicate with her, and he's getting this information that he may not have even been open to receiving as himself.
Yeah. Yep. You killing that.
Yeah,
That
Mia's on
was
fire
on
tonight.
fire tonight.
She's
Why you
on
heard?
fire.
Boom shakalaka.
But yeah, I mean, again, Mia
Yeah.
hit it on the nose. Yeah, I think again, this is Daniel getting the inside scoop for information that it wasn't supposed to hear at this time. But what Bro spoke on earlier on, where she was like, she doesn't like who she's become being with him. Man, did that hit for me. Because I can relate. Like, when you feel yourself becoming someone who, you've never seen, it's not truly who you are, that can be a red flag, or you not even recognize it until someone close to you points out, like, hey, you're a little different, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, that make you reflect and kind of consider the possibility that, yeah, I have changed, and maybe not in such a better way. So yeah, when she said that definitely hit different, and some of
Yeah.
the same reasons that she fell in love with him, she was falling out of love with him. It started off good, the energy, he was funny, kept her laughing, but like she said, then it stopped being funny. And now we have children, and the responsibilities are on the table as well, along with trying to, keep a roof over our head. So it just became more serious. And but it's got to be accountability on her part as well. Like,
Yep.
you have to have these conversations with your partner. And there may not be easy to have, but he has to see her too.
Mhm.
As a woman, or man or woman, but me being a woman, as a woman, you don't want to always have to tell the person exactly what to do, or you should pick up on things just from, we've been together 14 years. Like, come on, bro. Like, you should know me like the back of your hand, and vice versa. So you should be able to pick up on cues and clues. Because if I have to tell you constantly over and over, yeah, it's a wrap for me. But so yeah, that was a very vulnerable moment
Yeah.
for Miranda, and then for Miss Doubtfire being Daniel, getting that inside. Like, man, I didn't realize it was that bad. So yeah.
Yeah. It was again, like Mia said, violating because you're getting privy to some inside information you shouldn't know. But like asking, like, how was he in bed?
Yeah,
Like,
that part too. She said that
bruh,
part was always okay. I mean, okay, that ain't.
that's
I
hard.
wouldn't want to hear that.
That is heartbreaking because you open yourself up. That's why I think the writing works so well, because it's like, oh, you ain't just getting this and turn around and be like, oh, I'm about to be Mr. Perfect next time I see her. Like, you get this information, and then of course he finesses it later, like, oh, he was a, like, no. So it was like getting that information, find like you was mid. It was like, damn, that's not cool.
Not
But you got
even
to,
that.
yeah. I mean, you kind of got to eat that up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I mean, this is Miranda. I don't feel like the bar is set that high.
What you mean?
Nah, I feel like Miranda. I don't know. Maybe I'm black.
Okay, don't do my girl like that.
I do it any kind of way, but I just feel like Miranda, like over the years, like maybe an initial, like, okay, this is cool, but like 14 years of mid, it's like, all right. Anyway, so the line that I really really liked about, she said he could do anything but be serious. And it was like, dang, that was heavy for me. I was like, wow, because that may not be the line for all of us, but there's something along those lines. Like, somebody believe you could do anything, but there's this thing that you can't do. And it's like when it hit, he was like happy about that first half of it until his face changed when they said that, and she said that he was spontaneous and funny. And that's the trickiest part about a relationship in the sense with them two, is being spontaneous and funny. It seems like those things are great in the youthful era of being with somebody. But when you start getting into the mature aspect of when you grow older, you start hitting 30s and up. Not to say that spontaneous is not still desired and needed, because obviously it is. Like I know women love to, from my experience, enjoy still to be surprised and in those things, and of course funny. You need to keep them laughing, but it seems that those things are not at the forefront as much as it's the other things, and those other things is what Daniel lacked. That it's like she got to the point like, bro, everything ain't funny all the time. Everything, I ain't joking all the time. I don't want to have to be serious all the time. I want to be the responsible one all the time. And this, watching it this time, you just see it clear as day, and you understand why it didn't work. As a kid, you wanted it to work so bad. As a grown up, you understand why it didn't work. It did work. It reached its expiration date. So I don't look at every time a situation ends as it didn't work.
Yeah.
Even though we to death do us part, we make vows, but I don't look at it as unsuccessful. I just look at it that it was on a set timer, and it reached its set destination, and that's just how some stories go. So, where you at next, Ash? What you got next?
Just a quick bit on the pool scene.
Which one?
That's what I meant. The pool scene.
The pool scene.
Yeah, with Stu.
I got the dinosaur scene. Where he's playing with the dinosaurs or whatever.
So I think you had, because I had it the same way, but the scene where Daniel's playing with the dinosaurs is after the pool scene, but
Okay.
the scene where he sees the dinosaur show, the boring one, is right before the pool scene.
Okay, so I got the after. So then, are you at the pool scene too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Ash, give it to us.
Yeah, the family's coming out, meeting up with Stu. He's already, about to jump off the balance beam or whatever into the pool. Mia's boo thing.
My boo thing.
So Miranda, she's all geeked. The kids are excited. Everybody excited to get in the pool, but Miss Doubtfire. And he keep trying to convince her. She's like, oh no. Like she's not going, period.
Yeah. He's locked in. He is so locked into
absolutely
what you would believe this lady to be. It's ridiculously deep.
100% believable.
Yeah.
As your Miss Doubtfire voice.
You like that?
Give it to us one more time.
I'm sure you have it covered. Whatever. Yeah.
Oh no, darling.
But yeah, so he's getting in good with the kids, which is crazy because the two older ones know that this is their dad, but they're still kind of enjoying the time with Stu. They're having fun, they're hanging out. Stu gets out, goes to the bar or whatever, and talking to his buddy. And he's like, dude, you never wanted to date a woman with kids.
Yep.
And, he pretty much saying like he loves her kids. He's getting older, gotta settle down sometimes. And plus just mention like, hey, their father is a loser. And, they need some kind of father figure around.
That was crazy to be in the suit and hear that.
Yeah, so, Daniel's hot. He's hot inside of that costume there.
He double hot.
Double. So yeah, he hit my boy with I don't even know what type of fruit it was.
With a lime.
Yeah, hit him with a lime, and
the lime and the coconut and mix it all up.
Like I feel like Stu knew it was Miss Doubtfire.
Oh, absolutely.
She looking like, oh, he just ran off. Like, bro, stop.
It's crazy. Like, and then like he didn't even hide well. That's how you know he was drunk. Like, he didn't even hide well. It was like, oh, her like, bruh.
Mia's rolling.
Yeah, like, come on, bro.
It's just so funny.
So what did you want to add to it, Miji?
No, okay. So that I had all of that, what Ash had with you know, Stewart talking to his friend about how much he likes Miranda and how, he's falling in love with the kids, especially little Natalie, just a cutie pie. He says he's pushing 40, things change. And the kids need a stable father figure in their life. And, what can I say? The guy's a loser. And it's kind of like, even as an adult in this moment, you're kind of like, well, he he has his ways, but he's not a loser. You
Right.
know, he's a little he's misguided, but he's not a loser.
I'm misguided. Look at me at being nice.
you know, because one thing I'll say, I'll always shoot some bail for a good father. He's a good father.
Absolutely.
Now he may be failing in a lot of other areas, but he loves them kids and he's a good father. So,
Mm-hmm.
they don't need another father figure. They have their father. It's okay for you to want to be a part,
Yeah,
but don't be trying to replace them now.
yeah. Um, yeah. It's just funny too because she had already told Miranda that her husband died, because of alcohol, whatever. The company literally ran him over, and so like he was over there getting to it, getting lit on the liquid courage, and like now you got to duck and act cool, like, and so the fact is like sliding way away from the bar, all that, just funny humor stuff like that stuff. As a kid, you don't catch. As an adult, you catch immediately, like when you trying to chill and you might have certain family over and you're like, yo, I'm trying to I got things I'm trying to do, and you try to find like a little duck off. And that's what I got for, like, you try to find a little duck off to, especially by the time y'all hearing this for the holidays. Yeah, like, you know, so but yeah, man. I got I guess the restaurant scene.
Oh,
And
definitely
then
have that.
you got anything y'all got anything before that?
You still want to talk about the dinosaur scene with
Oh,
Dan?
well, yeah, just I thought it was funny. It still held up. That's all. I just thought it was still funny and it still held up at that time.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had the the so I don't know if I could call this necessarily like a scene, but it was within a scene, basically, that, when the next scene where we have visitation, where Miranda comes and she sees that Daniel's doing so much better. Um, but then at the same time, he kind of shoots himself in the foot as Mrs. Doubtfire, because now that he's doing better by being Mrs. Doubtfire, she's also grown so attached to Mrs. Doubtfire that, yeah, you're doing better, but I don't want to let go of my nanny now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dog. A
So,
nanny would definitely be a benefit right now.
You
Listen,
need
and
me to fly out, man?
you stupid.
My niece and my nephew, now.
What's happening?
but I have that, and then my next scene is just the Miranda's birthday dinner being at the same time as Daniel's potential business dinner.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Who? Mia?
You
Or
say you talking about the dinner, or was there?
No, just the whole little scene leading into the dinner, and
oh, okay.
Oh,
like
like they
looking for a
wanted her to
dress,
come there. Oh man.
figuring out that the dinner is at the same time as his birthday, I mean his business dinner, and she's like insisting that Miss Doubtfire come. He's like trying to get her to put on that old funeral dress from 1976, telling her like the line, that dress is much too short. I hope you waxed.
It was going crazy on the, like, he was going OD on the
Biggest
like,
hater.
Yeah, he was biggest hater vibe. Like you, I mean, again, this is still my wife. Like we're not officially divorced, so but you forget because you're so in character. But it's like I'm gonna do everything to disrupt. Like if I gotta hit a nigga with, excuse me, hit a guy with a grapefruit or a lemon, I'm gonna disrupt. Like no matter what. Like and just down him talk about like, oh, her husband was like a powerhouse in the bedroom. Like I'm doing everything I need to do to down you. Like you ain't got a chance. So that whole
Courthouse is crazy.
he really showed who he was though. When he started talking about the dress and like all of the reasons, like that was a crazy scene.
But yeah, I got the restaurant scene next. Oh, did you want to get into that, Mia, with the dress,
No,
or
no,
is
no,
that? Oh, okay.
that's all I had. That
Oh,
was
okay.
just wanted to mention it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got the restaurant, man. By far, probably my favorite scene of the movie. Freaking hilarious. um, they going out to celebrate Miranda. So he again the conflict. You got this huge business deal, and then obviously Miranda wants Miss Doubtfire to be there to celebrate with the fam.
Mm.
Um, so he took a minute to even get over to the boss man. So he was really over there. I'm surprised dude didn't leave, but yeah, he he being Miss Doubtfire he over there, kicking it with the fam. Then he changes into Daniel, goes over to the boss, and just throwing the drinks back. I'm like, yo, I- what's up with the boss, the owner, the CEO? He is throwing the drinks back.
You
I'm like,
little dog.
look, it looks. I had like 3 drinks and he just came over there. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy.
And this
So
would be a
yeah,
great business meeting normally. Like if it was you had nothing else to do because you're locked in your vibe. Like oh he drinks on him and he's a like kind of like a loose
like
CEO.
loose.
So you're like okay he cool. Like we gonna
Yeah,
be good. And the fact that you still got other obligations. Man.
but still, that's OD to me. But I'm not the
I
biggest
mean I mean
drinker.
obviously yeah.
3, I'm like, that wasn't even it. He's
That
like,
was
I
still
took the
it was
liberty.
still OD though. Like on a right off the rip. Like I got you. Yeah, it was OD. Like on the initial. Like I don't even know
Then
you like that, bro.
right, then took the liberty. When you came back that second time, I ordered some more drinks, bro.
Man.
I'm done. It's over with.
How
So
am I
yeah,
gonna
like
pitch something to you, bro?
right. So yeah, uh, they order their food. Stew is he can't have anything spicy. So Miss Doubtfire taking that mental note. Um, and I like the part where the teeth fall out into his wine, and then he's like, "Oh, I have to go." And then she tells Stu to puree the salmon, bruh. That was so funny to me because the teeth fell out. He's like, "Tell him to puree the salmon." See, just that small that was hilarious to me.
Yeah,
That little comedy right there. Puree is crazy
it is.
because you
Puree of
gummy out
salmon
here
is nuts.
because you gummy. But yeah, um, just the whole restaurant scene was
And
hilarious,
brilliant as well.
brilliant, genius. Until he goes sit back as Miss Doubtfire. Well, first he go back with the lipstick and he like, does she got a friend? Dude,
Yeah,
ready.
nah, he locked in.
But yeah.
Mia, what you got? You got what you got from that scene?
Okay, so I had all of that and um mm, going from that to, you know, Daniel is now wasted because he's had so much scotch with Mr. Lundy. So eventually, of course, he goes to the table as Miss Doubtfire, and he doesn't even notice. He's talking about all that scotch had to piss like a racehorse. And he's like, why are you dressed like a woman? So, of course, Daniel, being who he is, thinking quick on his feet, oh, well, this is what I wanted to pitch you anyway, which turned out to be like a great idea. And it was perfect.
Mhm.
And He's finally getting into his groove in his business meeting. He's got an idea now. He's pitching Miss Doubtfire as this cool hip granny to be on TV, but then across the way, because while he was drunk, wandered into the kitchen and put that cayenne pepper on Stewart's dish. Now the man is about to die across the restaurant.
Bro.
So he starts eating, his throat swells up, he's choking on a piece of shrimp. And, you know, here comes Miss Doubtfire from across the restaurant. Help is
Right.
on the way. And starts giving him the Heimlich maneuver. And it's all downhill from there.
Oh, absolutely. Um, only thing I add to that scene is it when the reveal happens and Miranda says like the acting she did. It's like she's like, oh my gosh, oh my god, oh my gosh, oh my god. And then he's like, the whole time, the whole time, the whole time, like, because you that real time processing of
Mm-hmm.
whoa, because you're putting like, oh, I shared this with you, I had you in my house. Wait, I said this to you, like all of these things, like, bruh, like it's like if you were on the phone talking to a homegirl and found out the whole time the suction sucks was on the other line or that was there on speaker, heard everything, you'd be like, bro, so every time I was confiding in you, was giving me good advice and everything, suction was there. Like that acting was so, it was extreme, obviously, for the 90s, but it was still like you got where she was at. Just like, whoa, like, bro, this is very extreme to see your kids, which is why I think she was mad hot when they got to the court case, as far as which is my last scene for the movie. But any other scenes y'all have? I mean, I know there's probably like two more really solid scenes between the court case and then obviously him on TV and that last little makeup. So what do y'all have next?
Uh,
Oh, I just got the court scene as well with you, bro.
What about you, Miggy?
yep, I have just the court case was my next one too.
Okay, well, Ash, go for it. We'll start with you.
Yeah, just the follow up. What is this? 3 months later, like he gave him. So
Mm-hmm.
just the follow up and how he's pleading his case, and the judge is just not hearing it. Still empathetic, but just like, bro, your antics and everything you're doing is still not conveying stability for children. Um, but I just love how he compared to not being with his children was like not having air. Boy, did that hit deep. I was like,
Mm-mm-mm.
being a parent, it just hit so hard. I couldn't imagine, you know, not having Anthony. So, I mean, he was pleading so hard. It did make me mad in that moment with Miranda. Like, bro, you didn't say nothing. And of course, that he brought that up, when she met him at the TV station or whatever. But I was so mad at her. Like, you hear this man pretty much, pouring his heart out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he went crazy. I'm not excusing his behavior, but I just was in that moment. I did want her to kind of, say maybe y'all can figure this out, outside the courts. But she was just hot, you know what I mean? So with good reason. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's all I had really.
What about you, Miggy?
So yeah, oh, so I have to give Miranda some grace here because like I think because of how humorous it was and how much we all love the character Miss Doubtfire, you like forget the severity of the violation of trust and
Mm-hmm.
boundaries and privacy that occurred, you know, that so even the judge is like, I'm going to recommend some therapy because you might not be all the way right. Um, and now you have to have supervised visitation because your behavior is just a little bit unhinged. Like we
A
get,
little bit.
you know, like we get that you love your children. We told you 90 days. of Saturday visitation, you get your shit together, we would reevaluate. You took it upon yourself to pose as a housekeeper and invade your ex's entire life, not just like her household or her space, but she's confiding in you, getting dressed in front of you, telling you all of her secrets. That's really grounds for a restraining order if you want to do.
Oh man, I mean,
But
breaking and entering. Or,
so like I get it, that in that moment she probably was like, no, like I'm not giving you no more. Nothing. I'm not giving you not a bit of extra help. Like you got to take whatever you get at this point because you kind of made your own bed. But like like we're all of course rooting for Daniel because that's
yeah,
kind of the
that's
point
the
of
way they. Yep.
is we want to see him be back with his children and we see the links that he goes through. But I can never vilify the Miranda character just because, you know, that's my girl.
That's your girl, huh? That's your twin. Nah. Yeah. Just briefly, just the court scene, just him saying he's addicted to his kids. It's like, man, listen, I've never heard that before. And this movie definitely had me walking away, like just looking at my kids different. Like this man was willing to dress up as a woman and not just like some like half ass dressed up. Like he went through the proper channels of method acting to get the voice, to get the face, wig, heels, stockings. He's getting hit on by a bus driver. Like that level of dedication. Like to be able to see his kids, because one day out the week ain't gonna cut it for me. Like to the point he moved quickly from, okay, if she not with me, what about my kids? And it's just like that to me is just, anyway, we'll get like later down the road as far as that. But yeah, that's the last thing. Now, do y'all have the last scene of the movie, or is that's where y'all you do? Okay. You do too, Ash?
No.
Okay, well
I
me and G.
have I do have the part where them seeing Miss Doubtfire on TV for the first time, but then I basically just have like that whole thing is like a big resolution
Mm-hmm.
ending.
Great ending, actually. Okay. Um Ash, who's the character that you relate to and identify with in this film, Mrs. Doubtfire?
I have to say Miranda, man. You know, being a single mother for such a long time. I mean, again, she had Daniel, but really, it felt like she didn't. Yeah, just being a single mother, knowing what it takes to have to provide and still be the disciplinarian and be the fun parent, have to wear all these hats. And it's just a lot of pressure on one parent,
Yeah.
which I experienced quite a bit early on when I was in a previous marriage. So it's just having that weight on your shoulders is so heavy. So I definitely can relate to Miranda
Mm.
the most.
What about you, Mia G?
So like I was saying earlier, like a lot of different scenes helped me come to this conclusion, but absolutely Miranda. Um, because being the mom is hard. Like, and I don't think we really, because even if you have, a present father, the mom role is inherently difficult just because of all of the invisible labor you have to do. So not, and then to be a working mom is even another layer of difficult because, you want to be present, you want to have fun with your kids, you want to be able to, you know, put down some of the many things that your brain is working on constantly and just have those moments. But you can't because you're at work. You have to worry about work. You have to worry about what's for dinner. You have to worry about cleaning the house. You have to worry about homework. You have to worry about doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, registering for extracurriculars, school, this, that, everything. And then you get home, the house is a mess. The kids are having fun with dad. You don't have those moments and you don't really feel like you have, the space to take care of yourself when you have to basically keep a ship running at all times. And if anything falls, that all of the things you're keeping off of everybody else's plate, the whole ship sinks. And then your partner doesn't see you. Like you're not even being seen. It's like I'm doing all this and you don't even see me. I'm crying myself to sleep and you don't even notice because when it's brought to your attention, you're blindsided. And so like I took so much away from this watching this movie now and seeing how I feel like as kids, this character was so misunderstood, but I feel like so many women can relate to this character, whether you're married or whether you're going through a divorce or you've been divorced. And the way that it was handled very sympathetically, because I feel like even though as kids we vilified Miranda, as adults, even adults back then probably saw the plight that she was going through. And it's really like a real thing, which is why I just, that's my girl.
I like it, man. Y'all really are sharing some real insight. Shout out to our women listeners, man. And I'm in listeners. Like, just there's a lot of insight in what y'all are saying. Hopefully, y'all read between the lines and pick up the same nuance that they picked up within this film. For me, the character that I relate to the most is still, even as an adult, the kids. A lot of us grow up in those similar situations that just those challenges of you want mom and dad to get back together, you want to figure it out, and then things it never quite as a kid because we went through this. They got back together and then we got older and then it went back to that again, and it's like you never really quite get back to what the ideal of what you thought the family would be based on previous experience and based on what's presented to you, like a lot of these sitcoms, the Cosbys or whatever. We see this, we have this idea of familyhood, and when it's not that, it's just hard to it's a hard pill to swallow. And so still even watching this now, just like y'all spoke, just having those challenging relationships. Are we gonna do it? Are we not gonna do it? Okay, we're not gonna do it, or we are gonna do it. That no matter what, the kids are always a factor. And you understand that if you've had that experience or haven't had the experience, that's going to affect in a way that it will forever change the trajectory. It doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing. It just means that it changes the trajectory. And so for me, I definitely still resonated with the kids, even as a grown man in this, because I've seen that, and I understood that rebellion, at that time. So, Ash, you got a favorite song from this?
Of course. Dude Looks Like a Lady by Aerosmith. Gotta have that. But growing up, I thought it was Do the Funky Lady. That's what I thought they were saying.
Bro, I thought they were saying do it like a lady.
Me too.
I was 32 years old today
Today,
when I
years
found
old.
out. Because my husband told me, he said that song is called Dude Looks Like a Lady.
That's
I was like, what?
That's why I actually listened and heard. I didn't even look it up. It just stood out for some reason my ears. It's like, dude look like a lady. I'm like, wait, they're saying
never
it.
knew that. I
I
was
didn't
like,
either.
that's what they're saying. I definitely thought it was Funky Lady for some reason.
You're probably not the only one.
But yeah.
All right. Things you would change about the movie or things that they didn't get right.
Oh, was that y'all song too?
That's my. I mean, I know Mia said pretty. I mean,
I,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's there. That's pretty much. It ain't too many other like but
Okay.
Mig G, things you
hmm,
changed about the movie.
I don't really have anything that I think they got wrong necessarily about this movie.
Okay.
Um, I appreciate it for what it was. I'm not gonna nitpick.
Okay. Fair enough. Ash.
It was overall everything was pretty good, but I would have liked to kind of see a little bit more, maybe into the marriage dissolvement. Kind of because it went from like her coming home to
Mm-hmm.
a birthday party to we're divorcing and we're in court. Again, obviously it was a build up, but I would have liked a little bit of insight. That would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe a little insight on um her relationship with Stu, like that background story. But I know the basis of this was more so about the kids. So, that's probably why they left it out. But it would have been nice to kind of see a little bit more before we got to divorce. So yeah.
Yeah, they could definitely do a prequel to this and turn into like if they wanted to go a serious version of it, younger version, they could definitely do it. Like this like what you're saying, that competitive nature of the two men and Miranda and being career driven, it's there. Absolutely. Um for me, it would just be the only thing is when 007 chokes in the restaurant. So he chokes and they choose to go with the fact that he's choking, but they do not choose the fact that he said he's allergic to pepper. And then they went with him getting choked. Like that has
Right.
nothing. He should have been dying regardless if he choking or not. Like his face should have been swelled up like Will
I
Smith
agree.
and Hitch. Like I was like that. It had they. It's like they gave us that detail for nothing. It was
Okay.
it was like a weird thing. Like why would y'all should have just let him choke and not say, oh, he's allergic to pepper.
Hmm.
Like he could have just ate it and been choking, and you had to leave the meat and go over there. Yeah, I get they wanted to tie him into like it's your fault, but it just didn't. That part was like, I kind of dropped the ball there. Like it was didn't make any sense.
I could see that because
That
ain't
was a
nobody
good point.
have an EpiPen like you were choking, but your throat should have still been closing up.
That's and like they went back to normal like right away. It's like, yep, yeah, it was.
Like, no, you're allergic to
Yeah,
pepper.
you're dying. That nigga put the sauce on it, bro. Like seasoned it
Wasn't
up.
even mixed in. It was
It's
just
just
sitting
on
on
top,
top.
bro. It's
Crazy work.
garnishment.
Parsley out there.
Putting the
Yeah, that's
garnish on it. um, the moral of the story, Mia G. What's the moral of the story for you?
I feel like we've had so many of the films that we've covered so far have had a similar like theme of embracing
Mm-hmm.
change and what you can't control. So I feel like that's a big one here is just embracing, those changes. And even at the end, there was the scene where Miss Doubtfire was on TV and she was basically saying, she was reading a letter from a child who was talking about their parents were getting a divorce and they were asking, like, am I losing my family? And it was, families all look different. It doesn't have to just look one way. Some families have one dad and no mom, or a mom and no dad, or what some people live with their aunt and uncle. Some people have, two families.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for me, what I took away as a moral of the story is that we have to accept that, you know, the ending isn't always going to be perfect, but we can make the best out of what we, the circumstances that we're given.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
beautiful.
What about you, Ash?
So mine was never stop fighting for your kids.
Mm.
Despite the relationship with the other parent, you have to be able to put your personal feelings aside and remember that children didn't ask to be here. And so they're relying on us, they're depending on us. and we as the parents are just supposed to be there no matter what. It can be difficult, especially if you're in like a crazy situation or a less favorable one. But just never stop fighting for your kids. They need us. It takes a village to raise children. Um, so yeah, that's what I took.
In similar vein, man. Mine's is just at all costs. This is for the kids. We may or may not love each other, anymore, but this is for the kids. They're only kids for a little while. We know that now that we're here, and we don't want to ruin that. It's such a, now we understand, like, dang, we look back, if I was young, if I could have do it again, I would appreciate. So we understand that now. And what are we going to do with it now that we don't understand that? We understand that. And so, like, now we want to constantly keep them immersed in being a child and having fun and enjoying as much as they can, because we know what's coming for them. They don't know. We know. So it's still about them and creating these moments and things for them. And that's what I think he was trying to do. He went about it the wrong way, of course, but the heart or the love that he had caused him to be caused him to be ridiculous in his approach, but it was still from a loving place. Did it cross lines? Absolutely. Did it affect her and affect the other people? Absolutely. But he was in his mind, he was right at that time. But I imagine looking back and be like, okay, that was definitely not the approach. That was very extreme, but I love my kids. So for me, it's like, no matter what the status is in the relationship, like, we have to do our best to give them the best childhood we can. Yeah. And that is a home. That is a home with love. That's how I look at it. It's a house with love. It's a relationship full of love. If I don't have nothing else to give you, I got love. And that's what we do as parents, So, and that is our episode. But y'all know how we do here on Childish Grownups. It is now on Mia G. I feel like we need the little roll the little what is the Wheel of Fortune? Nah, I ain't gonna put that there. But we're getting to the month of December, so I am super interested. We don't know. We don't have conversations prior to the episode about what the next movie reveal will be. So our reactions are very much organic and real. So Mia G, it's on you. What's the next movie we're reviewing?
Okay, so in the spirit of the holidays, I thought we would review a little movie called The Preacher's Wife.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
The Preacher's Wife.
Okay, come through.
Through. Man, I remember they did that over at the Culture Garden, and I didn't remember. I remembered it, but not as detailed until I heard them. And I was like, okay, I kind of remember that. So now doing The Preacher's Wife, wow, that's Denzel. We love Denzel Washington here. Mm-hmm. Man, what made you pick that? Just real quick.
So I was thinking about, like, all of the holiday movies that, we grew up on. I was trying to think of one that may have a little bit more depth, something a little bit more for the culture, but something that I hadn't heard reviewed like a lot.
Yeah.
And this was the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
I am not mad at that. Like, it's a great cast, and the late great Whitney Houston. Like, come on.
Rest in peace.
Wow.
Courtney B. Vance.
Hey, Courtney,
yeah,
come
that's
on,
my
man.
guy.
Yeah, that's what he did on that OJ versus the People. Come on, he always gonna be my guy after that.
Yeah, he watch. It's a show called The Heist. Well, it was a movie. He did a movie called Heist. Super good.
Yeah, he got it. Okay, man, y'all putting some heat on me, because now it's like y'all going left field. Like, now I knew I was gonna go, but now that y'all doing that, I might have to really dig in the crates, because y'all both keep throwing me off. Like, all right, hold up. Like, I can't be that typical. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, actually, I might got a little room for it, because I came with extremely goofy movie. I could have went with Pocahontas or Hercules or Mermaid. So that was a little left field. So maybe I get a little license to go with what to be expected. But nonetheless, All right, y'all, man. Well, that y'all heard it here. Y'all know what we're doing next. The Preacher's Wife. We're getting into our Christmas season. This episode will probably be out a day later than usual. So it'd be right when y'all preparing for Thanksgiving meals and stuff, because it does take a little bit of time to prepare this dish for y'all. But it is time for us. The street lights is on. We got to hop on the bikes. We got to get back to the crib because we don't want to get in trouble. We got to get up for school the next day. So, man, we thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all want to reach out, childishgrownups3@gmail.com, where y'all can follow us on Instagram, Childish Grownups, man. We thank y'all for tuning in. Shouts out to all the Stoop Kids. Peace out.